impressions for first day?
Went well. Thought there's obviously a lot of things to clean up, but thought it was a good first day. Just kind of with the mentality of what's next, and just keep going to the next day. So it was a good start, but we got a long ways to go.
It was an early one too.
Yeah, that was alarm went off at about 4:30, so it was pretty early, but it was just kind of like class or something. So that won't be every day, so that will be nice. But yeah, it was early today.
What do you think was the message with that early start? Was there anything to that about beating everybody out to the practice field? You guys are working while other people are sleeping, that kind of thing.
I honestly think it was just like a class schedule conflict. Like kids had to leave at 8:30 to go to class, so I think they just wanted to get through that. But it was good to just like coming right off spring break. Like you had to make sure you were ready to go coming off spring break to 4:30, waking up and ready to go for practice. So I thought we did a good job with that.
So what was Coach Rule's message to you at the start of this? Whether it was a message you got yesterday or today, or just coming into the spring?
Just really challenging yourself to be your best self, and just always striving to be better for yourself. Not worrying about depth chart, not worrying about where you're at. With that, just pushing yourself and just giving every little bit of effort you got, and then just getting better from there.
Do you have any idea at this point how much different the defense would be in the previous one, or similarities, differences? Can you tell at this point?
Yeah, it's a different scheme for sure. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, especially for us old guys. We've played pretty much in the same scheme for 4 years. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but that's what spring ball's for. That's what getting used to it, getting used to the little things of the defense. But it's definitely fun. It's fun to play in. So it'll be a good change, but it's definitely something we got to get used to, especially for the old guys.
What makes it fun?
It's more of an attacking defense, I would say. But there's a lot of different like blitzes and there's just a lot of movement on the defense as a whole. So it's just something we're not quite used to. It's just a little bit different.
How do you think your strengths kind of fit into this new defense?
I think they fit well, just because I definitely play off a lot of feel with that stuff, and that's kind of what this defense is. So just relying on athleticism and still knowing what your job is, where your leverage is, and all that sort of stuff. But it definitely lets you play a little bit more free, I guess, in a sense.
How do you feel physically coming off of? Have you had enough time to heal up? Where are you at?
Yeah, I feel good. Feel good physically. End of last season kind of banged up my shoulder a little bit, but I feel good right now. So winter conditioning went really well with Coach Campbell and his staff. Like we crushed it. I loved what we were doing in there. So my body feels really good right now.
As an older guy, do you go all out for spring? I mean, or do you have to dial it back just a little bit and be smart with where you're at because you've been through a lot physically in your career?
I've talked to Coach Dvorak just a little bit about managing my reps a little bit, but right now I'm full go. We'll kind of see on down later on practice 8, 9, 10. We'll see what kind of my reps are looking like, but I haven't really crossed that bridge. Really, right now I'm just doing every rep right now, but it was day one. It was a shorter practice, so we'll see. But yeah, it's definitely something we'll keep an eye out.
How much were you able to do during the conditioning?
I was able to do everything.
Nick's not here, so do you have to kind of help bring these young guys along, sophomores and juniors, Snodgrass, sophomores? Like guys like Taggy, guys like Snods, those guys are really smart. They don't really need any help bringing along. It's a lot of bringing in those new guys, those new transfers, the younger freshmen that are coming right away, making sure they're coming along, understanding the new defense, and just being a part of kind of the culture we already have. So that's more of a challenge to bring it along, like Taggy and Snot and stuff. So.
With this new staff, get any sense for who wants to be here aspect of this early on?
There's definitely been a couple guys. I think there's been several handful of guys that have left the team. So that's kind of normal for having a new staff come in and
But yeah, it's definitely people who are wanting to be here are here right now, so it's good. But yeah, we got the team what we got, and we got to move forward. So.
Is it like after people get on the practice field after all the winter conditioning with the new teammates, new coaches, and everything?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to play football again. You get used to just lifting weights and just running, and you're getting kind of tired of that. So it's fun to get it. It's fun to get a change and do something different, especially when that different is football. So that's what we're here for.
You said you liked what they were doing winter conditioning wise. What did you like about it? I mean, what was different and maybe what caught your eye?
Yeah, it was just super structured, and just everything was to a T. And then we a lot more. There's a really movement based, and really just focusing on just flexibility, I guess, and with stuff like that. So I really liked it all of getting stronger and more fast.
Obviously, early in the spring, who are some guys that you were looking forward to seeing out on the field that maybe impressed you in the winter with their work ethic?
Yeah, I mean, like we're always around each other in the inside linebackers, or the linebackers, I guess. But yeah, seeing the new guys is always fun because I know what Snods looks like, I know what Taggy looks like, I know what kind of these older guys look like. But it's always fun to see those new guys, those freshmen, those transfers coming in and playing like Sherman, MJ. And Chief, so it's always fun to see those guys get out on the grass and everything. So.
Are they outside or inside?
They do a little bit. We kind of do a little bit of all, a little bit of everything. So they kind of flip flop back and forth a little bit.
How have you seen them integrate into the not just like on the field for the first day of practice, but within the culture of the team?
Yeah, I think they fit in great. Both those guys are really likable. Everybody kind of gravitates towards them. So yeah, I think they fit in pretty well. So yeah, I have nothing but compliments for them. How they're coming in with brand new people. They don't know really anybody, so they did a really good job this winter, just kind of being themselves, and everybody enjoys being around them.
How much did some of those team competitions and stuff like that, how did that help kind of integrate those new players into the team?
I mean, everybody's got a clean slate. Like, you just see who competes and who doesn't. So it gives people like that, like new people, just a really good chance to like kind of show out their stuff and just show how they compete, show how they work. So it's really just kind of shows who's in and who's out. So it's really good for kind of new staff and the new team, really, to see who's bought in and who isn't. So.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.